Good morning, Jeep family, and happy after Thanksgiving.
Yay!
Yay! We're supposed to be refreshed, but I know I had a busy weekend. How about you?
Pretty busy. Didn't get to work on anything I wanted to work on.
Yeah, right. I had all these aspirations, and
Yeah.
I achieved pretty much none of them.
I ate food.
I
Got fat.
I got super fat, and I bought all the pies that I could find.
Ooh. I have something you'll be really excited about that I brought in for you today.
Oh,
Yeah,
is it edible?
it is
Oh,
edible.
wow, that's all right. That's the fastest way to my heart. Oh, it's your wife's pumpkin roll.
It is.
Oh, Amy makes the best pumpkin roll.
I was actually thinking about we need to talk about what our favorite holiday food is.
Oh my gosh. Yes. All right. Before we jump in there, if you're tuning in with us for the first time, I am Neil with Simpson Family Jeeps, sfj4x4.com, and my lovely co-host,
Scott Brown, mad scientist.
the mad scientist and service writer for SFJ4x4.
As I heard on Saturday, I'm famous.
You are as a mad scientist.
I walked around the corner and the guy was, it's you.
I know him.
I know him. It's like, hi.
Hi. Oh man. What was Saturday? Where were you?
Here? Or no, not Saturday.
Friday.
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 No, it was Saturday. Yeah.
The Black Friday parade.
No, we were here Saturday.
You were here Saturday.
I was here Saturday.
For work.
I was here for
You were
work.
working.
I'm glad
and
my boss
somebody
knows
came in-
where I'm at.
No, well, I didn't know. I didn't know
Make sure those
where the
hours to put
interaction.
on my
How did
clock
I know
sheet.
the interaction that happened?
Yeah. We were selling stuff,
Okay.
at a Jeep shop.
Ah, well, good job. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. Well, with that said, we had a parade here Friday night,
We did.
and slightly smaller turnout than we typically expect.
Yeah, but it was cold and sleety, rainy, snow. It couldn't make up its mind.
And we're still sort of in the middle of a pandemic, right? According to some medical professionals.
Yes.
And so that's, don't discredit anybody for not making it out, but there was a lot of buzz about it in the
Lots of very festive Jeeps. One
Lots of-
overly festive pickup truck in particular.
well, I really am very proud of the representation by, again, our production staff here. Jeff and Davey do a fantastic job, and then obviously the really fancy pick-em-up truck, which is a Gladiator pick-em-up truck, and Jeff did a phenomenal job.
It made me think of my favorite Christmas song.
Oh, what's your favorite Christmas song? Way to throw that one up there.
The 12 Pains of Christmas.
12 Pains of Christmas. I remember being a kid and praying for that to come onto the radio.
Yeah, I do that every Christmas. That and Porky Pig, Blue Christmas has to happen.
Really? Those
Yes.
are your staples.
Those are my staples.
Huh. Huh.
Because Jeff kept blowing fuses.
Yeah.
And in 12 Pains of Christmas, he's ringing up those lights and blowing
If
a,
one
I
light
blow a
goes out,
fuse.
if one light goes out, they all go out.
Yes.
Yes.
No, why the heck are they blinking? It's a great song.
It is a great song. It is. It was one of the first parody songs, you know what I mean?
Yes.
It was 80s and 90s, and we were living in that moment. That's funny. My favorites, and now we were talking about that, talking about it, would be Bing Crosby's White Christmas,
Of course it is.
right? Right? As if you would be surprised there at all.
There's a good parody of that as well.
Is there?
Yes.
So yours are all parodies.
Yes.
And
Of course it is.
oh, good morning, Diana. Yes, it was going on in the parade, but the weather here wasn't too great. Diana, don't worry, because obviously I live in Meadville, and I woke up to 6 to 8 inches of snow this morning.
We have green
So
grass up here.
we could mow the lawn, like you said.
Yes.
We've got green grass, and you're right. The weather was cold, sleety, snow. Obviously, if you're watching us, we are live every morning, every Monday morning at 10:19. So you can join us on our Facebook page and watch.
Unless
tune
Neil
in.
has a foot of snow in Meadville, can't make it.
Well,
If he only had a Jeep with
I
four-wheel
was
drive.
going to say it. I'm driving the wife's mall crawler, so I'm on 37s, and
Meh.
it was fine. And my neighbor even gave me a push, he
Lord.
cleared out my driveway a little bit, and I was like, that's so kind of him. I don't need it, but that's really kind of him. So nice to have good neighbors. You know.
Yes.
Absolutely. So yeah, if you can join us, please do jump on to Facebook and comment, and we'll say good morning to you, and you can interact with us, ask us questions, and we'll respond back accordingly. And then obviously, the podcast goes live, not live, excuse me, it goes up on YouTube every Friday with a little bit of additional theatrical production value added in by our very own Davey, who, kind of cleans it up and puts in some extra pictures and videos and music and stuff like that.
So speaking that we work at a Jeep shop, what's your best gift ideas for a Jeeper?
Well, look at you.
Trying to follow this great.
You're trying to follow the script as we've been given. Well, we weren't done talking about the parade. That's all I was.
Well, we're going to get back to
honestly, and honestly, this is going to go. This is going to kind of keep in the theme of things. That one of my what I would call one of my best gifts to a Jeeper is genuinely a quality inverter, which we will talk about when decorating your Jeep and how to kind of accessorize it for fun, for winter and whatnot.
Not the one I got used that I like triaged back into work for like 4 years ago, and I have to find it every year before the parade.
Oh my gosh! I probably have 3 or 4 that, to use exactly your word, the triage together.
Yes.
And I have to like shove some fuses in it because I hope they're the right size.
I remember something like that happening at the parade.
Well,
fuses kept blowing.
So and I'm pretty proud of this moment. So to speak of that very fancy Gladiator pick-em-up truck, and then accessorizing and gift giving.
So the guys, and he has a picture that you can put up on the screen.
Do we have a picture of the Gladiator?
Yes. So, you know that house? Every neighborhood has one that you just go like, how in the heck is he wiring that? And why is his meter not like falling off the house as it's spinning so fast? That was Jeff's Gladiator at the Christmas parade.
He also had professional sound equipment in the back of it.
Amazing. Our sound guy having sound equipment
Go
at the bed
figure.
of his pickup truck.
Go figure. Go figure. He had tucked under his tonneau cover. Even.
Yeah.
It was impressive.
And I think was the snowman actually dancing, Jeff, to the music?
Yes, it was.
Of course it was.
It was actually dancing.
It was an animatronic inflatable snowman.
I mean, it was
In
so
the bed of
windy,
his
it was
truck.
hard to tell. It was like, is it just blowing it, or is it actually dancing? And I was like, at some point, I was like, yeah, I think that's actually dancing to the music.
Well, and what was kind of fun is that we had 2 Gladiators very near each other. They might even back to back with each other.
Yeah.
And the other one had a equally tall Santa Claus blown up in the back of it, and that was, blowing all around, looking like it was dancing as well. At one point in time, as we were staging, it had fallen over the cab, and we were like a little bit in panic mode from the back of the parade route.
Yeah, perfectly. All planned out.
All planned out.
Yeah.
Santa stood up nice and tall, and the Gladiators ended up meeting up as we proceeded, into the parade route, and it was just this very cool, double Gladiator with the inflatables.
Speaking of which, we had a pretty special Jeep, also pickup truck like with Santa in the back of it.
Yeah, it's a very cool Jeep, right? It's a Brute conversion.
Yeah.
Something like a Brute conversion.
An LJ Brute conversion, the
Yes.
one you don't see very often.
Yes.
They don't cut the bed off. It's just a little mini bed with the special Brute hard top.
Right.
And all got some sort of bed liner on it. Really nicely done.
It should have a bulkhead on it, like a Scrambler used to have.
It has a tonneau cover. I really couldn't tell when it was in. We did a crawl over on that Jeep. But we have a
solid.
picture Jeff can put up of Santa greeting all the children.
My kids actually sat on his lap.
My daughter did. Of
He
course,
he wasn't advertising that.
No.
But the kids just
I honestly was talking with customers, and I looked over. Next thing I know, my daughter's talking to Santa. I was like, oh, okay.
yeah. What a good sport, right?
Right?
I mean, I think his intention is to spread joy and smile
Yes,
and
and he
wave and all that
was.
kind of stuff, but it wasn't exactly planning on.
And guess what Evie told him she wanted?
Oh, what'd she say?
She wants a unicorn that washes dishes.
That's a loaded statement, which I'm not gonna touch. I'm gonna step away from that.
And Santa said he would try, but he thinks it might be a little difficult.
That's a tall order.
Yeah.
That's a tall order. Wait a second. So we're talking about the inverters. You're talking about Jeeps here. And we're talking about inverters. So the inverter is a great gift because you can use it for camping. You can use it for parade decorating.
If you got an old phone, you can charge it.
If you've got an old phone, you can charge it.
If you've got music equipment that's maybe should be in your house playing Christmas music in the bed of your truck, you can play off of it.
Absolutely. And I've spent a good bit of time this weekend looking at generators Cyber Monday, and see if I
It's
can
a
get
time of year for that.
It's a time of year for generators, and I think that would be very cool. But if you had a good inverter,
I almost put the generator in mine.
Of course you
A
did.
couple years ago, we had a customer who had a generator, and he carried it on his hitch rack.
Yes,
the whole
I
time.
remember that. That was a great plan.
It was a great plan. It was a little loud for
It
the
was.
couple Jeeps behind him, but he ran a full size generator attached to his hitch rack.
That's what the bigger speakers are for.
Oh, boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
But if we had a good inverter, if you had 1,000 or a 1,500 watt inverter that was wired in correctly to your battery,
Or if you just decorated your spare like I did and didn't go over the top, then you were okay.
yeah, that's not the Simpson way.
I know it
That's-
wasn't.
That's not fun at all. But a great gift for Christmas for a Jeeper, if you're thinking about it, would be a good inverter. You can typically get them for under $150.
Unless you're going to turn your truck into Christmas display on everything with music, then I suggest you get a bigger wattage one.
You should get a bigger wattage, but I understand. I believe that was a 400 watt inverter, and it was only a 400 watt inverter. And by the time that we did a trail fix, because he kept blowing the fuses, and this is my big piece of advice for you if you're watching, thinking about an inverter for yourself or for a Jeeper you love. Do not use the 12-volt plug-in cigarette lighter. That's really just good for running a laptop.
Unless
or
you're a Scrooge like me.
running a laptop or a cell phone. If you actually want to run some implements off of it, hardwired into your battery. Obviously, the bigger connections, the better. That's just life in general with wiring and electricity. But that's
And maybe a fuse.
a fuse. Yeah, you could do a fusible link in there. Or a fuse, inline fuse is what I should say.
Anytime you attach something to the battery, you should have a fuse, unless it's a winch. That's important.
That's true, because the winch pulls more, and
Yeah.
it'll blow the fuse
Blow the
constantly.
fuse. That's always
Which
fun.
is actually on my my list of top presents for Jeepers.
Mm.
That was my pricey end of things.
Was a winch?
Was a winch,
Yep.
pushing the 650, 750
I
mark.
was thinking a tree saver.
You're holding on to that, aren't you?
I am.
You're holding on to that. I'm really trying to figure out how to get you something, and then like make the pun of like it's not the size of the dog in the fight,
Oh,
it's,
dear.
the fight in the dog. You
Oh
know?
dear.
Not how big it is, but how you use it. You
Oh,
know.
dear.
Because your tree saver was about that big before, when really the job called for, like needing it to be that big. But
That's why I have a winch. See, if you get a winch, you don't need the big tree saver.
yeah, so the parade, back to the parade, we had super good enthusiasm for the sleet and the snow and the rain. We lined everybody up outside. We had a representation. I know I saw online Blue Jeep Crew, which is a pretty active Facebook group. I know that we had a couple Jeeps representing that. We had Ashtabula County Off-Road. We actually had several Jeeps.
We had Elcor,
We had Elcor represented out.
which they had
and-
their Black Friday ride. He was all muddy.
Yep, and that's his
MO.
MO. That he's been doing that for years. Big shout out to Jason for coming in and representing Elcor and joining us. And then there is a fourth club who's typically with us, and I saw they ended up, and I don't think it was planned. Big shout out to EJP for all their support over the years, and usually they come out. I had saw them share it a couple times, but I ended up seeing that they did an impromptu Santa Claus on a fire truck escorted by Jeeps.
Oh, that's awesome.
And yeah, so I understand. I don't think it was planned. I think they literally just kind of was like, hey, let's do this. And then they ended up escorting this fire truck and Santa Claus around a bunch of neighborhoods. So very cool. I saw a couple pictures of that from over the weekend. Yeah, we had a lot of really, so from Mild to Wild, of course, my dad's LJ always kind of leads us off a lot of our parades. He has the fun Christmas lights or the rock lights.
And
up
they were
underneath
being
of
a
it.
good sport with no top.
Yes.
And the weather we were having.
I think they were the only topless Jeep. Usually we have a couple topless.
It was pretty cold, though.
It was cold. My mom and him and my son in the back throwing out the candy went topless in the Jeep. And then we had just super clean Rubicon that I think is local, just kind of nicely decorated. And then mine is, haphazard at the last end, where you just kind of string lights everywhere and just make it.
What's planning?
Well, I had an inverter, so I was going to use it. Absolutely. So we had a great time. We had a
Yep.
good time. And your kids have fun?
They did. They yelled Merry Christmas to every person that would listen.
Yes.
My kids were very upset at the beginning of the parade. It's kind of dead. There isn't a lot of people at the beginning, and at the end there's a lot. And they're like, "Where is everybody? I want to wish them a Merry Christmas." And then we got to Main Street, and they're like, "I don't want to do this anymore."
They were out. They were tapped. Huh?
They were done. They were hoarse.
I think it is so cute. I just even our community who comes out for the parade. It's just very, very pure and very people are genuinely happy to be there.
It's one of the great things about Conneaut. Growing up outside of Conneaut and then coming into it has a very small town feel, even though it's actually a pretty good sized town.
Right.
But people here have a lot of hometown pride.
A lot of pride, a lot of spirit.
Yep.
A lot of spirit. I mean, before I get on my soapbox, there's a lot of fight in the people of Conneaut. So a lot of good people here still, and
Yep.
a lot of good stuff happening. And one of them is the parade. And big shout out to the library because the local library took over organizing it. Actually, a customer and friend of ours, and I didn't realize Jimmy Jones had done it for 40 years. Did you know that?
I had no idea.
He said he has put the parade on for 40 years, and that's a selfless job, really. So
it is.
the library, and then honestly, my sister played some role for us, helping organize and put on a nice refreshments and
Jenny
good
knocked
space.
it out of the park.
Yeah, she did. So if you came out, if you were a Jeeper who came out, enjoy the refreshments and the space. A big shout out to all of the staff and team here for.
And they were the festive XJ that was in the parade.
They were the lone XJ.
Yep. Our other one broke down. As XJs might do.
As XJ's.
Greg was not happy.
Oh no, I'm sure. I haven't talked to him,
The
but
battery's junk and the alternator's junk.
Oh,
both. Double whammy.
double whammy. That's
Yeah.
not a good.
It's the way
Christmas
Greg
gift.
rolls, though. And
Yeah.
of course, he wants like a 500-watt alternator to
Oh, yeah.
replace it.
Oh yeah.
It's like $500 or something. Because you can't go anything normal. That's why it has a
Mid-range.
V8 in it.
Yes, that's what.
You just can't do it.
Oh my. Well, so we had a good weekend. Did you have a third favorite Christmas song? Because you only gave me two, just so we're on the same page. Hey, Jeep family, we hope that you're enjoying this content, and we want to make sure that you head over to sfj4x4.com, find some of this cool merchandise, give us a call at our facility, 440-813-3663.
Option 1.
And make sure that you tune in to our live podcast every Monday at 10:19 a.m. and check out our updates on YouTube on Tuesdays and Fridays. Until then, Jeep on.
And of course, they're all parodies. I mean, I can't remember of it. It was on Bob and Tom, and it's like this husband and wife. And they're all excited about their kids coming to Christmas, and then they keep getting fruitcakes in the mail from their kids, and they got free tickets to like Aruba or something, and they're not coming.
I don't think this is a real song.
It is,
I
and
don't
then they
think
get
that's a real song.
smashed drinking.
What are you?
It's
What
all
were you
parodies.
listening to?
It's a Bob and Tom show song. I mean, that has to say anything.
I don't think that's a real song.
We're gonna have Davey find it, and we'll play it over the YouTube version.
Right?
I don't know. Well, I think it is bleeped out. It might be okay.
Oh God, I hope so. Oh my goodness.
It's just me. I can't. I have to go against the grain.
Yeah,
If it's
right. Well,
Vehicles, music.
To say the least, right?
My poor kids. I listen to 50s and 60s rock like 90% of the time.
No,
I
you
thought
don't.
my other day.
No, you don't. I get
Like-
into your Jeep and it's like old folk music, like old people.
No, that's Joel and Jenny.
Well, that's true.
No, mine is. My dad was a little bit older when I happened, and he always listened to doo-wop and that kind of stuff. So that's what I listened to, and I thought my kids think this is normal. This is just what happens.
They're listening to 50 sock hop music right
Yes,
now.
pretty much.
No, I mean,
that's
it's
how I
still
roll.
good music. I mean, it's.
If I want to mix it up, I go into 60s, 70s rock. Get crazy.
You want to mix it up. Elvis? Are you an Elvis? Blue Christmas?
I hated Elvis and Blue Christmas early on.
Oh, somebody's
And I-
skin just crawled.
And I know I'm getting older because I listened to it the other day. I was like, it's not that bad.
Wow. Wow. Now you're converting to Elvis.
No, not converting. I'm not going to be going, anytime soon. See, for my defense, I've grown up with the reenactors, and they're not. I mean,
They're not Elvis.
they're not Elvis. They try, but it's used. I mean, there's a lot of memes out there about reenactors of Elvis, and most of them are true. Just saying.
I didn't grow up in an Elvis household either,
You
but
didn't have like the silky
no.
Elvis thing hanging on the
No,
wall.
but my neighbor did.
Of
she,
course.
she was a hardcore, and I remember going over and mowing her lawn and doing that kind of stuff. And then you'd go inside to get paid your $2.50 for your 6 hours of back-breaking labor.
Yes.
Builds character.
Yes.
And she had, the entire wall dedicated, the shrine of Elvis over
Yes,
there.
it was a big deal for that generation.
It was, but it was I do appreciate Blue Christmas from Elvis. Not in my top
I
3.
think Porky Pig does a better job. Just saying.
Well, I know that's what you said. You brought it up, so I thought.
It's harder to find. YouTube is my savior on that, though. But if
I
you gotta wait for the
Oh, Bon Jovi.
what
is-
Christmas song does he have?
What Christmas song? Albert coming out of the left field saying Bon Jovi.
No.
Is he trying to claim that you like Bon
No.
Jovi?
So there was a kid I went to high school with. He got a real hard crush. Now Bob Seger I can get behind.
Okay.
Was a big crush on Bon Jovi, and he wore leather pants to school. And it just ruined Bon Jovi for me.
Wow.
Yeah,
In high school?
in high school.
Huh? Was it at the tech school with you? Or?
No, this was pre-tech
This was
school.
pre-tech school. This was
Yes.
just public high school.
Yes,
And this young man wore leather pants to high school.
Yes.
That's bold.
it is.
That's bold.
Yeah.
He's the music Albert grew up on.
Yeah, that's the when I get bored of my dad's music, that's what I go to.
Bon Jovi.
No, not Bon Jovi, Bob Seger.
Creed.
No, no.
Nickelback.
No. AC/DC.
I'm not gonna hate on Nickelback. There's a divide on the internet happening over Nickelback as well. But
Oh dear.
oh goodness. And I was gonna say for me is the last one is gonna be instrumental. It's gonna be Sleigh Ride. Do you know that one?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I don't mind the steamroller and
The steamroller.
yes.
Oh, go ahead.
You know what I talked about though.
Go ahead. What,
I'm not
what
doing
band
it.
is that?
I'm
tell
not
me,
giving
tell
Jeff-
me what
Nope.
musical.
Nope, I'm not giving Jeff
Give-
any ammo.
No, I want to hear what.
There was
what
a
artist?
parody. Jeff, as much as I love charities, Jeff uses
Charities.
Stop it. Jeff keeps making my words parodies and making little sound bites of them. Just saying. So I'm not giving him any ammo this week.
I only did it once to you.
Twice.
Well, the other time was Neil.
I was in there though.
I sounded like a robot.
Yeah.
I blame Jeff on that one as
That was
well.
totally
But
Jeff's fault.
but I want to know what band was that?
Anyway,
What Mannheim
Mannheim.
Steamroller.
That
The
one.
Steamroller. He goes the
you
Steamroller
knew who I was talking about. though.
group.
See, that's lots. That TSO is good.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra is fantastic, and
Yes.
pre-COVID, I had desperately wanted to go and see them in person.
That's a
And
way to get wifey points.
It would have been a great way, and they tour up and down the East Coast and through Cleveland and Pittsburgh, and I was here for those tickets, and we were kind of getting to that point, and then and all the things that COVID took away from us, it took away my ability to go to Trans-Siberian Orchestra. It was like this climactic moment that I was working up to.
If you-
Hands down, the best concert. I've been to several of them.
Have you really? I bet it's rocking.
I've been to Buffalo, Cleveland, and Pittsburgh, all 3 arenas.
I bet
it's-
it's rocking.
and if you have a
Amazing.
sound system that was in Bed's truck, or bed of his truck, it sounds awesome.
It did. It did. He had some. I think he had a couple of their songs
did.
going.
All of them were TSO.
Oh well, there we go.
That's how much Neil paid attention.
He's over there calling it death metal.
He did.
No, you know
That
what,
happened.
Jason?
The light show is phenomenal.
with Trans-Siberian.
There is a light show and Christmas decoration. You can go down to at the ski resort. They do the light show with that. It is awesome.
Really?
Yep.
What ski resort?
The one up in New York, just across the line.
Okay, I was confused because you said you go down to the ski
Well,
resort. I'm
Peak and
just.
Peak.
I get my directions confused.
That's up. That would be northeast
Stop
from
it.
here to Peak and Peak, and there's a light
Anyway.
show, and they use TSO as their
They do.
their
and,
background.
And that steamroller place.
And that steamroller. Well, this has been fun.
Yeah.
I'm glad
This
that
is the way it always goes.
we've butchered our Christmas music.
So what does Christmas mean to you, Neil?
Wow, I wasn't prepared for that. But
Why not?
I
Come on,
well,
follow the outline, dang it.
Oh, interesting.
Gotta keep us on track.
You are. Honestly, Christmas is my 100% best time of year. Absolute favorite, hands down. Time where my family can kind of come together and have this kind of this pureness, this joy, this excitement.
It's also my wife's favorite. We always internally talk about how Neil's family and my wife's family are very similar.
Very, very similar.
Huge families. I had a very small family on the other hand. So Thanksgiving's my favorite because there's always good food to eat and there's no pressure.
There's no pressure. You just nap.
Just
the
nap.
idea is eat and nap.
Yes, or work on vehicles.
Oh, of
Lots
course.
of good memories working in the garage with my dad
On Thanksgiving Day.
Thanksgiving Day, which me and my son did on Thanksgiving.
Okay.
To try to bring that back a little bit.
Huh.
My daughter tried to do it. She lasted 5 minutes.
Oh, well, she tried.
She did try, and I
tried.
gave her accolades for that.
So with us, we actually have a traditional Slovenian Christmas, and so and that's an important part. So as much as I love the actual 24th and 25th and the religious experience that goes with the purity and the joy, we also have this very, very heritage inspired, ethnically inspired.
Is that where the
Christmas? Yeah, and so everybody, the big thing that people focus on, and there's tons of little things that make it special, but the thing that people think is so interesting is we have an axe, a chain, and hay present and typically under the table, and we stretch the real kind of takeaway piece is we stretch a chain out. And so at this point, again, big family, we have 30, 40 people, and we link chains. So we actually, kind of tie them together, hook them together, and we link a chain out so that everyone in the family can have their feet on it. And it symbolizes the bond of our family. Again, that old adage of you're only as strong as your weakest link. And
Yep.
so we have this chain that everyone sits their feet on. And then we eat a whole bunch of good peasant food, Eastern European peasant food.
Oh dear.
Yeah, which again, talk about good eats and that kind of stuff. So fish and beans and rice and pierogies and all that kind of good stuff.
I want to know more about the axe.
So the axe is symbolic with the intention to ward off evil spirits, and then the hay, which is present underneath the table, is intended to provide or symbolize the provision of shelter and bedding and warmth for your animals. And so it's all symbolism. And there's grains and candles on the table. We wash our hands with a silver dollar. We eat all this good food. We sit around and we sing carols. And this actually happens, would have happened more on the Orthodox holiday, which is actually after how we celebrate Christmas on the 24th, 25th. But it actually happens in first or second week of January. So pretty interesting thing, It's actually very ethnically inspired. And funny thing is, and my wife, go figure, and this was not by design at all. She's Italian and also Slovakian, so like us. So she actually had
Perfect.
the semblance. Yeah, we eat a special dish called babajki, which
I'm not
is
gonna try to say that.
no. don't butcher that. Which are these fried dough balls and
Jeff would love
sauerkraut.
those.
Yeah, it's dough balls and butter and sauerkraut. And,
Jeff has had them.
oh, have you? Okay. Well, see, not
that
everybody.
sounds very familiar. This stuff. My wife is big on New Year's
Yeah.
with the pork and sauerkraut.
Yeah.
We have to have that, or bad things happen.
Of course.
Also, the big thing in our family is you have to decorate the tree. You cannot put the tree up and leave it undecorated
Oh,
because great grandma passed the tree not decorated on Christmas.
really?
Yes, that was a big deal.
Really?
Yeah, like Amy's great grandparents. So pretty close to home. So we have to put you're not putting the tree up unless you are
Unless
all in
you're
for
putting decorations on immediately.
all the way. Have to go
No
go for
way.
the win.
That's pretty cool. That's a pretty neat little family story. Not exactly prepared for.
Grandma
Grandma died after on
was making
Christmas.
Christmas food and literally expired in her husband's arms in the kitchen.
Oh, well, it's kind of romantic and
scary as
bittersweet
heck
and scary. Yeah,
At the same time,
with an
yes.
undecorated tree. There's a metaphor in life.
Yes.
in life there. Well, we went right into Christmas traditions, which was not on our list.
Well, we can jump over to, what's your favorite Christmas movie?
Oh,
Is it Die Hard?
No, it is not.
Christmas doesn't happen until the guy falls into the mall.
Did you know the name of the plaza?
No.
Oh, okay. I really do want to hear Scott say the name of the plaza.
No.
Okay. We'll see if we can set you up sometime in the next couple weeks. But
Yeah.
no, honestly, Christmas Story, filmed largely right here in Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh.
And there is actually the house, the Christmas Story house.
There is.
And one of our...
Shoot your eye out.
Yep, you'll shoot your eye out. And that is 100% one of my favorites. Elf is right up there.
Oh dear God.
Oh, we've got the name of the plaza.
I'm not
which
even going to do it.
you are.
You were definitely trying to say that.
And so you brought up Die Hard as a Christmas movie, and
Well,
I'm
it's
here
on
to
our
support
script.
it. I'm here to
Jeff.
I'm here to support it.
Darn it, Jeff.
I am. I'm here to support it, but I need you to pronounce that name of that plaza. And I was going to say National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, and then obviously White Christmas. I can go on. Actually, I love Christmas. I've been watching Christmas movies for, I don't know, 6 weeks at this point already.
Of course
So-
you have.
So this is now your turn. So
Is
that's
that in Japan?
It is. It is.
Oh,
And
I had no idea.
it is. And that's
See,
part
I
of
watch
Die
Die
Hard.
Hard every year, obviously.
Okay.
Nakami Plaza?
Where-
Stop it.
There's
Hey.
there's an entire T in there that
I
you
try. Anyway, moving on.
there's a T. You missed the T. You made it into like a Y.
Speaking of which, don't you have a song to sing? 12 Jeeps of
No,
Christmas?
I'm not singing that song. We'll talk about Jeeps. Remember when this podcast was talking about Jeeps and products
Okay,
and stuff?
what about our Jeep myths, true, false, or legend?
Oh, well, that's actually not bad because we were talking about myths and legends.
A Year Without Santa Claus is a good movie.
It is. So you know what? I really like Albert's thing. Christmas is just enjoyable because people seem a little happier and less depressed.
Then you get to the dark times after Christmas.
Wow. Okay, maybe you. I don't know. There's a little bit.
There's nothing to look forward to anymore.
Oh. To be in your head, apparently. That's what this podcast is bringing out.
Hey, Greg would agree, probably.
Well, that's not.
The two Scrooges.
I was going to say,
of
yeah, that's
SFJ.
two Scrooges of SFJ. That's like, no, it is joy. And if you go into our showroom, you'll see we have a big, beautiful Christmas tree decorated, and we have.
Jenny did a great job.
She did a wonderful job, and we have snowmen on display in that dark time you referenced, Conneaut did a snowman contest about 2-3 years ago, which we actually won.
Yep.
My mom had put together snowmen, and we've had customers build us.
Spring and summer is to look forward to.
Yeah. And we had a customer build us a tire snowman, which people always think is really cute. So we have it decorated just to kind of bring a little bit of that joy here into the shop. And there's a lot of people who are investing in their Jeeps and playing with them and buying those kind of goodies to make their Jeep better and happier. So there's definitely some fun things that makes everybody happier with Jeeps instead of you Scrooges over here. Goodness.
That's what the parodies are for.
Goodness. You want to talk about this? We're talking about Jeeps.
Sure.
What do you want to tell me about this?
So Pulsar, and you need some more hearse purrs in your Jeep.
That's right. That's you want for Christmas. I want hearse purrs. I get questions on that constantly on the phone.
My Jeep literally knows when there's cold air now. Everybody talks about boost weather. Yeah, it's a thing.
It is
even
a thing.
without a turbo or a supercharger. The cool thing is it's a little bit spendy for the 15 to 18 JKs because you have to have this and a flash cowl to do your tire changing. But this allows you to not send your ECU out to get flashed and gives you literally with your temperature gauge and your cruise control buttons, you can set towing or performance, which mine's always on performance.
Is there
There's
another way?
option.
Is there another way?
Because actually we were talking about this over the weekend. Of course, the Brown family, me and my son talking about horsepower, and I had a Gremlin with a V8 in it, and it was really loud and fast to him, and I had to tell him, like, the JK literally has more horsepower than the Gremlin had.
With the big V8
with the V8
and the
and
sound
everything.
and yeah.
The Gremlin just weighed like 2 pounds, so it didn't have to have a lot of horsepower.
Power to weight ratio is spectacular. in it.
Torque was off the chain, but
Yes.
but horsepower, no. Which that whole adage of torque is what you take with you through the wall, not
Right.
not horsepower. So
Yep.
that's what fries tires and that kind of stuff. But these unlocks makes a huge difference with the seat of pants dyno.
Yep.
And then they offer it for the JT and the JLs, which I've been preaching to Jeff forever that he needs to get this for his JT.
Yeah, I share with people that when the Jeep is built, engineered, They take into obviously the consideration the federal regulations that we have to achieve certain, safety and fuel mileage and all those types of good specifications, power to weight that the vehicle is expected to have, and it falls within a category. And then the bean counters take over.
Yep. And crush all their hopes and dreams.
Crush all their hopes and dreams. And so between the bean counters and, regulatory and then cost, they make Jeeps very, very kind of middle of the road.
I'm pretty sure this is almost 50 state legal, though, isn't it? At least 49.
At least 49. Whoa, you okay there?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay. Whoa.
Is that word?
Is there water? Is there coffee? Is there
that word that was just creeping up on me? Bad memories of that word. Anyway.
Nakayoi? What?
Neil's got this on Jennifer's JL as well.
I do.
And the cool thing with the JL JT is you actually can set your tires and scan your Jeep and that kind of stuff with it.
We can.
All through the instrument cluster there.
Yeah, which I think is very cool because the two leading products for the JL and JT market is going to be your Taser line, and then your Pulsar line. And what I think is there are advantages and disadvantages to both. One of the big things about the Pulsar is that it's called a piggyback computer, and so
Which has been around forever. That was one of the first ways of getting performance out of things back in the dark days.
How long was the dark days?
Late 90s.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, and that was the big thing that Jeep struggled with is that when Superchips, Edge, Hawley, they're all part of one big family. When they were trying to figure out how to get the Hirschpers to our Jeeps, Chrysler computers are locked. The user interface or the actual computer interface is very challenging to get through.
Which is how it was in the 90s. You used to call up in Ford, Chevy, all those, you could hot rod that no matter which way you wanted to go. And Chrysler was like an iron curtain. They
Yes.
weren't selling any connectors that were special to it. Their computers were straight off limits. Really was a challenging dark times
Yeah.
of that. But some other, like Edge Performance and a couple other places made little piggyback modules very similar to the way this is. Technology is worlds apart, but the idea is the same.
So they had this in that 15 to 18. What we were having to do was a ECU exchange.
Yep.
So they were unlocking, they were hacking open a computer, not physically but electronically, and then they would send us an open computer that allowed us to kind of
Play with it.
and with their interface. So Superchips was doing when they came out with the Pulsar in 2020. Well, they came out with it in 19 for 2020 for the Gladiator was really what it was developed for, at least what it was marketed as.
There's probably a lone JK guy going, "What about me?"
Well, and there probably was, and now there is a JK guy. Now that you can have these on your JKs,
Yep.
Or they have the same technology on the Flash Pack for your
14
kind
and
of
older.
11 to 14 and older, your 7 to 14. But what's kind of interesting with this is that the big question we always get, so why do the piggyback? Why not the ECU exchange? So this is very cool because it gets physically installed, piggybacking on your factory ECU. And should you need to go into the dealership for any warranty purposes, you can actually just remove this and your Jeep goes back to stock automatically. It also, I don't want to use the word guaranteed, but I've spoken to the folks at Superchips a couple times, and they, short of guarantee, this has no ghost data. So people always say, well, is it going to void my warranty? Am I going to go into the dealership and they're going to plug it in and know that I had the performance setting on there? We're not encouraging you to do anything nefarious with it, but no, this is no ghost data. It doesn't void a warranty. If you have a dealership service garage that's kind of stickler as far as modifications are concerned, you can just remove this, put it back to stock, and
The nice thing is your ECU literally has your VIN number and everything in it, and that's another layer of complication when you exchange an ECU.
Right.
Where this doesn't. You don't have to worry about that anymore.
Right.
You can have your cake and eat it too, sort of.
Yeah, and again, you get to do all this from your steering wheel controls. So horsepowers on the shift, on the fly, which is very cool. And these are
once you have one, you won't go back.
No, no. And we're just at this point in time, I've enjoyed the performance side of things, I have everything I have, chipped to the best of my ability, which has come light years compared to where it was 20 years ago. Because 20 years ago, we were crossing wires,
Yeah.
and you were trying to.
I wish they'd make this for the Subaru, my wife's Subaru. I think there's untapped potential there. I looked it up, and no such thing other than for the turbo cars, which made me sad.
Nothing for the
Nothing for the regular,
naturally
everyman.
aspirated.
Yeah, for the everyman kind of guy car.
Yeah, the Subaru guys would definitely buy that, though.
Oh, they would.
They would definitely buy that. Yeah, it's a very cool product, and we highly recommend it. And we're selling more and more of the flash packs at this point. Because again, a big sell point for us was the flash cowl previously, and I think we've actually talked about that.
Yeah, that's the talking about Jeep gifts. If you don't have one, and you have a JK and newer Jeep, you should have one.
Absolutely.
It just unlocks so many features, and your speedometer is correct. Your TPMS light is no longer on. You can calibrate it for your bigger tires. If you're off road, you can turn it off. It just makes so much sense.
I'm boggled by the as many customers we come in who have gotten a tire wheel package from somewhere, so now they're on 35s or 37s, and they don't have.
And then they sadly ruin those expensive tires because they're trying to keep that light off. And I had one customer who had 50 pounds of air in their tires, and
it's like a basketball bouncing down the road.
It was terrible. It was just terrible. Shouldn't do that. Don't do that to your tour tires. Don't do that to your Jeep.
Well, not to mention, if you have an automatic transmission and you don't have your tire size input correctly and your speedometer is off, again, we're talking specifically your JKs, that your shift points on your transmission are going to be off.
And it makes a big difference.
It does. It does. And it could tax a tired transmission.
Yes.
It has the potential to do
Especially on the early model JKs, 100%. They had a not very robust transmission to start with, and then you do that to it, and you're putting a death sentence on it.
You are. It's a struggle. What other Jeep gifts have come to your mind? So I mean, I like the Pulsar. I like a
flash cowl.
Converter, a flash cowl, winch on the higher 500 to 700.
We're gonna go
range.
higher. I say a good name brand LED headlight, Rigid or JW speaker would be my two choices.
Okay.
I love mine. Big difference. And they're the two that have the heated function. So when you have weather like you have in Meadville today,
Yes.
your lights don't frost over, that's something even factory LEDs with JLs don't have.
Right.
Just automatically works. You don't have to think about it. It just does what it's supposed to do. And I just had another customer come in not that long ago that she had put off headlights. I think she rewarded herself once the Jeep was paid off that she was going to get headlights. And I kept telling her, like, you're going to love them. You're going to love them. And I asked her while she was here, I was like, so what do you think of your light? She's like, it was like never being able to see, and then you took the guards off, and suddenly you could see. And it's
a game changer.
It's not all about brightness either. It's about focus and the way it's put out on the road. And I don't get flashed with my lights because they're aimed properly. I honestly get flashed with my fogs more than I do the regular headlights. So,
Really?
Yep.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah, I was going to say, for us, that's the other thing. People will come in and they'll have a lesser quality, and they will complain about getting flashed.
Yep.
They'll complain about aiming,
Yep.
Aiming issues.
And longevity.
Absolutely. Well, our fun, and we were talking about this last week. We wish our fun lights and our quality light output
Could marry.
Could marry. We're not 100% sure why they don't. Why do we not have a high quality light output and the ability to make fun colors and dance around?
Are you
and
listening,
colored
Rigid
halos?
and JW?
Yeah, right. Right. Where are we at? Where are we at, Rigid, on fun color changing halos? So, what other what's another affordable besides a tree saver?
Well, of course, an SFJ hoodie.
Of course, an SFJ. But of course, what I was actually, before we plug that, this is where we need to black screen and put up our gear, because we're actually both wearing our work hoodies, which was a very cool gift to us.
Yes.
But we're not actually wearing our branded merchandise as we should. But yeah, our
Jeff's
swag,
on the.
our swag and our knitted hats.
Of course, it has our logo that's on the wall behind us there.
Yep. The American Legend shirts. We had those
with
out
the
for
sharpest
sale.
corner.
Yes, the sharpest corner in the state of Ohio, and it's also obviously, we look at this logo back here. We're in such a neat, unique place because we are located centrally between Toledo, which was where Jeep was first produced, and then Butler, Pennsylvania, the Bantam Car Company, which is where kind of Jeep was conceptualized, and so you can actually see that on that map there. It's kind of the breadbasket of the Jeep culture. And we have that American legend, the signature.
And of course,
signature.
it can't go wrong with an SFJ gift card as well.
Oh, look, a good plug on that. Absolutely. We have those for sale at the, there's our hoodies, and we have long sleeves as well. Yeah, we have the SFJ gift cards. You know what sells the best out of our gift cards? The electronic ones.
Yes.
Because you don't even have to leave your house.
Comfort of home.
Comfort of home. You just log on and you just buy the electronic version. Albert, you deserve one for all the work you do on great job on undercoating and all of our toes and all that kind of stuff. We always appreciate that.
He is a YJ in need.
He does have a YJ need. It's sitting outside every time I walk past. I'm like, oh, that's pretty clean. That's a good YJ.
Stop undressing it with your eyes.
I know. It's nice. It's nice, and he's got a nice paint job on it. And I'm ready to bring it home, But he's not going to come off it anytime soon, I think. But our e-gift cards, you can totally buy those, and that's actually our #1 selling gift card because people will buy them for their friends, and then you can actually just email it.
It's always fun because you have people come in, they don't have Jeeps, and they call them like, I'd like to get some sort of card for my friend or my coworker.
Yes.
And we're like, it's okay, not a big deal. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's as if it's because because of the nature of the business. I think like a Walmart gift card or a restaurant gift card is very straightforward, but to get a gift card for us, it's almost like it's a uncomfortable thing. It's like, no, we happy to help you.
Yep, very
happy to help you through the process for sure.
We are all set up for cards and that kind of stuff. We can take green stuff however you like to give it to
Absolutely.
us, pretty much.
Yeah, we will make it easy to do business. And especially in the holiday season when, you might want to just round out a stocking stuffer, or obviously if you don't know what your significant other or your coworker or your friend wants, that's when we can kind of interject and help and get that gift card procured for you. The other thing that I was thinking about were GoPro mounts. And that's one that kind of gets a little bit overlooked, but everybody, we talk about how much we love our Jeep adventures, and then obviously the parade that we just went on. And if you had the ability to mount your GoPro or your adventure camera on your Jeep or around your Jeep, and that's one of those things that's just kind of silly, overlooked, but if you've got a Jeeper who likes taking pictures or video of their adventures, you get some GoPro mounts, and you could, there's roll bar mounts, there's bumper mounts, there's the stick-ons, the magnets, everything.
Yep.
I was trying to think about things, from a cost, from a affordable, obviously your gift cards, your hats, your hoodies, all that kind of stuff, up to, the winches.
And those are parts you can't go wrong with. You don't have to worry about what model it is or any of that kind of stuff. It just works.
Right. It
also translates over to some of the guys that have quads and dirt bikes and stuff like that. You can do the same with those.
Absolutely. Well,
speaking of Jeep myths and legends, I was thinking of one. You talked about the Taser.
Okay.
The rumor is that's inside designed by a Jeep engineer. That's one of the myths. We don't know if it's true or not.
We don't know if that's true or not.
But it's a good story.
It's a great story. And then to couple that story is that Pulsar and Taser share a very similar interface, because there are other designs out there for modifying modifying the electronic communication of the body control module to the ECM, because that's really what we're doing here. We're not actually changing, when we talk about a piggyback computer, we're not actually changing the makeup of the computer itself. We're actually creating a facade of information which the body control module communicates to the ECM, the electronic control module, or the computer of the Jeep, the primary brain of the Jeep.
Yep.
And so my understanding is that Taser and Superchips at kind of what I'll call a superior level have very, very similar technology, whereas there are a couple other brands out there utilizing a little more cumbersome or different communication means. So yeah, I don't really know. I can't attest. I've not had that conversation personally, But yeah, that's a good myth. It's kind of like the myths and legends. It makes me think of like a Christmas Carol. You know, Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol is the ghosts come before, you know, the ghosts of the Jeeps of the past. We'll have to expand upon that one. I was going to think we're going to move on to this and close out. What do you think?
Maybe one more Jeep myth, and then I'll let you
Do you have a Jeep
serenade
myth?
me. Have you ever heard of a CJ4?
No.
Supposedly there is a CJ4, which is part CJ5 and part CJ3A and 3B, that sort of looks like a CJ5, but sort of looks like a Willys at the same time. Which I guess shouldn't just say Willys. I should say, you know, flat fender style, because technically CJ5s were Willys when they first came out.
Right. If we're talking Jeep, man, Willys is a manufacturer at that point.
But I've never seen one, but you go on and there'll be some guy saying, well, there was a CJ4 prototype. And nobody can confirm or deny.
Because that is, you know, if you are a newer model Jeep owner, we do have the CJ2A.
Yep.
So we don't have necessarily a CJ1, which is
It's probably another myth somewhere.
right. We do have obviously the 2s, the 3s.
Yep.
We don't have a production 4 that we know of.
Yep.
We have a 5 and a 6,
Six,
and a 7,
seven, and
an
an
8, and no 9,
And then a 10.
but a 10.
Yep.
So that if you're a viewer out there and you're interested in doing a little bit of digging and reporting back, and you want to jump on and communicate with us through Facebook on live or on our YouTube, and you want to comment in the comments below, and you know anything about a CJ4 or a CJ9 and why that numeric numbering system existed the way it did, I always thought a CJ10 would be very cool. I've seen
I want one.
I've seen a couple good pictures of them. If you're not familiar, they were only sold as tug models.
It's not true.
Oh.
Not in the U.S. In the U.S., you're right.
Throw down.
But in Australia, you could get a pickup version of a CJ10.
Okay.
So what people don't... I don't know if the Australian CJ10 is this way. I can only attest to what I've seen about the tugs. They're actually on a J truck or J full-size frame.
Yes.
They have a Nissan, I believe, diesel.
I believe so.
They have a 727, and they have a 208 or something chain transfer case that's locked in low range. And they had a 60 rear axle and a beam tube front axle. And they were just
This is the pickup truck in Australia, you're saying?
This is the tug.
This is the tug. I was going to say, you're describing the tug.
So I said I don't know what the Australian one
Oh, you
was.
made up the Australian one.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Davey will find a picture and put that up
I
there.
don't know. He will, because I don't know if it exists.
It
It's like the
does.
CJ4.
Let's stop it. Anyway, a lot of people don't like them because they have a really different front end. And the doors have a sharp corner, kind of like, Jamie Payne's sharpest corner.
Sharpest corner reference.
But they're all OD green, the tugs are, and there's some really cool nomenclature in there. And guys will cut them and make them longer and put a 60 up front, and then you're pretty much set for 37s. At that time, a lot of guys were running recentered beadlocks for Humvees.
Yep. If you want to go about 38 miles per hour, that Nissan.
Well,
And the
yeah.
low gearing.
Sadly, they don't. That motor wasn't very good. They were naturally aspirated, I believe.
I think they were.
Even with a turbo, they don't do much. A lot of LS swaps happen.
Yeah.
And,
Or should happen.
or should happen.
And that's a super cool truck. And I've had the opportunity to purchase one or two in the past, and it has a lot to do with
I would
the
have
guy
had one in
who
my yard if I
stretched.
had a chance.
You would have had one in your yard. Yes, you've stored a couple of my projects over the years.
Yes.
That's a great one. The thing that I've noticed about the CJ10s, again, myths and whatnot, and pickup trucks, whether they exist or not, has to do a lot with the guy who originally bought it off the military surplus and then stretched it. Some did a very, very good job, and some did.
That's how modifications go.
It's how all modifications go, and it just happens if you were the highest bidder at the military surplus, whether or not
There was
doesn't
some-
mean you're a good builder. It just means you were the highest bidder.
Going back in time, on Pirate 4x4, there were some awesome CJ10 builds
Yeah,
that I would drool on.
the good old days.
The good old days. There was lots of Willys builds on there as well.
I mean, long live pirate. I think we have a much more friendly environment these days. You know,
No roasting.
no roasting, no flaming.
You had that thick skin on pirate.
Real thick skins, like Yellow Bullet forums. You
yes,
know,
for the racing
for the racing and the hot rod guys, absolutely. But fortunately, with us, we were able to go on, socialize on pirate, glean information. There's still a lot of good stuff.
I just lurked in the background.
You just creeped on the wall.
Yeah, and read lots of information.
There was lots of good. There was, you know what? But honestly, that harkens back to a whole different era of Jeepers, which is obviously a time when we were actually very formed in the process, when guys were doing some really buggy inspired but full body builds.
Yeah,
really.
Back when you had to have a welder and some steel, and you thought up what you were going to do and did it. There was no bolt-on stuff.
It was very. I mean, it's
dark days.
Well, it led to the manufacturers who took that as a skill set and then delivered it to the aftermarket, which is very cool. So and obviously our Jeeps became more buildable with the emergence of the JK and the JLJT platforms. But yeah, good stuff. Man, I do love talking about the myths and legends of the Jeeps. What ones
we'll have to
exist.
think of some more.
Well, I could talk too long, but we've already done enough, and we've heard you butcher.
Oh boy. The Christmas movie.
The Christmas movie, Die Hard, the Christmas movie, and all the parodies.
Yes.
But we're gonna leave this note. Well, first we're gonna plug. Make sure you join us next Monday, 10:19 a.m. live on Facebook.
If you have snow and Neil can't make it.
I'm in my oversized four-wheel drive Jeeps. Or obviously, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, leave some comments. We had some people. One guy, I don't know if he watched the video or not, because he was like, "I choose the house on acreage, and versus a project Jeep any day," and because we had very apropos had titled the last podcast "3 Jeeps versus a House," and I wanted to be like. Did you watch it? I choose the acreage too, man. I mean, that's what we're here for.
That's how you have a bunch of broke down Jeeps in your yard.
Yeah, I was gonna say we choose the acreage.
HOA doesn't like that. You gotta have acreage.
You gotta have the acreage in the cabin on 40 acres. That meme. Would you take this house? Yeah, no, that's not a big deal. No problem on that. But yeah, make sure you like, subscribe, comment. We do read them. Have fun with it, and join us here. Jump on sfj4x4.com, grab some merchandise, represent for the holidays, or pick up the phone, call us 440-813-3663, extension number 1. Talk Jeep, and see if you got some goodies that maybe a Jeeper in your life needs, and we can help you out with. Hope everybody
we're not
had it.
Scared to answer those hard questions that some other people don't know. We're too much of a Jeep nerd here.
Yeah.
So we do know some stuff.
Some unique things. People, it seems oftentimes very simple for us because that's all we see and touch.
I've gotten lots of phone calls. I don't know. Everybody else doesn't know what I'm talking about. Like, oh, shoot. And I usually, most of the time, do. So
they're actually almost thrown off because we're almost nonchalant in our approach. So they've gotten shut down, and then all of a sudden we're like, oh yeah, that's really not that big of a deal. Mm-hmm. I always think it's funny when we talk about frame offing a Jeep, and that's such a very big deal to people outside of us, and we here have such a streamlined process and
when you've been doing it since you were 10.
Yeah. 10. Listen to you. Oh my gosh. All right, we're gonna leave on this note, which has been prepared to us. I have not. I've looked at the first line. And
we're just doing the first 3 today.
We're doing Jeff on our production side is saying we're just doing the first 3, and I understand.
You got to repeat them next week because that's how the song goes.
We're gonna have to start sooner next week. You're going to sing this, and we're gonna make sure that Nakatomi Plaza is in here. No. Nakatomi.
Nope.
We'll add it.
Yayomi. I don't remember how you said it. All right. On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a Jeep in Tuscadero.
Which you don't know.
What is Tuscadero?
That's the new pink magenta color.
What the heck is Tuscadero? Why don't they call it pink?
Because there's actually a story about that. I don't remember.
Is there a story about it?
There is.
We'll have to have that information
There's
for next
not a
week.
story.
Yeah. There is.
Oh, we could have had Albert sing it. We
We could.
Albert, who again does a lot of our undercoating, and he is our tow truck driver. He also plows our lot. I mean, he's kind of a jack of all trades. He also is the lead singer of a band called Hilltop Honey, which you can catch in northeastern Ohio, northwestern Pennsylvania.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, we might actually have to get him in here. On the second day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 2 e-lockers and a Jeep in Tuscadero.
That's a gift to keep
2
giving.
e-lockers. Good. All right, Jeff. Great. On the third day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 3 skid plates, 2 e-lockers, and a Jeep in Tuscadero.
I feel bad for all the other components that aren't skid plated.
Yeah, what 3 skid plates?
Which ones
What,
do you pick?
what 3 skid plates did you get? Oh, man. All right, Jeep family. We hope you enjoyed speaking Jeep with us. Log in, join us, comment, and until next time, Jeep on.